Hello and welcome to TorchlyDoomed. This is a quick overview of the map and the world and the plans. So, as the game enters, the player and the NPCs with the player, the mom and the sister and the pet, will pull up through here. We're planning right now to remake this top level over on the edge so we have a little more space. This is at the top of the build limit. So they enter in, drop off the main player, the hero. If there's multiples, then they'll drop off all of them, up to 4. And they'll meet the blacksmith, which will be here. He'll welcome them and then assign them some tasks for the day. There'll be a task list on the wall for them to do, and they'll go about their tasks of being the farmhand blacksmith apprentice. So they'll have some farming tasks, they'll have some um, different things to do up in level 0 to get started. Based on them doing those tasks, it will give them some of the gear they need. If they neglect to do some of those tasks, then they won't have that gear for the rest of the game, which will be somewhat frustrating. So it's part of the virtue check that they do what they're told or do what they're obligated to and do their chores. So if you do your chores, there's not a bonus, but a virtue check. So within the first few days, they'll do their chores, they'll wake up, they'll do the chores, and then one of the nights when they go to sleep, the floor will cave in while they're sleeping, and that will move them into the dungeon. So we then go into level 1. Um, at this point, the blacksmith has told them that their sister and mom and pet have been kidnapped, or there's not been a sign of them. On their way back from dropping off the um, the player from to the blacksmith, they are kidnapped, and or I guess we don't say that they're kidnapped. They were attacked, and there's been no sign of them, and the search parties have given up on looking for them. So you're now down here. Um, in level 1, the main goal that you don't know about yet that you'll figure out along the way is to save your pet. When you save your pet, that's going to kind of tell you and give you the information that your sister and your mom are in the dungeon somewhere and have been enslaved. Um, and they'll start you on the goal of saving them and finding them to get them. At the same time, you have bosses and people that you'll run into that you'll have to combat, and the story will unfold about a queen that was using slave labor to make this dungeon, or a keep to to be safe from the other countries and other people that would come steal her vast wealth. So she wanted a underground keep that had all of the amenities of home and could, house thousands or tens of thousands of people. The people revolted and locked her in the keep, now a dungeon, with all of the workers and everything, and she supposedly died down here. At some point, you'll fight her ghost in the process, but you also fight the foreman and a jouster who's one of the main antagonists. Those are on levels 10 and 8 and 6. So this is the dungeon. We have a starting house, starting location for them to be safe from all the stuff, some food, place to sleep, and then you start out into just rooms and hallways and rooms and hallways. The beauty of these is they're dynamic, so each one of these rooms will spawn a different set of entities and a different theme for that room, and we have about 40 right now. So these will all spawn completely different things. And then each of these hallways, these gates, these change between openable door, locked door, or gate or wall. So the pathways and how you get through it will randomize as well. And so there'll be a random set. So these are built in districts. So you have a district with 4 walls around the outside, and then some of them you have like security barriers, and then it goes back into another district. Right now, as you see this is with night vision on. So if we clear our effects, this is how dark it will be. And our goal right now is to have most of these lights out, or a lot of them out, on some of the levels, so that you have to turn them on or they'll time out. So the lights you have to be turned back on every few minutes or whatever, to force the player mostly in dark and feeling dungeonish. So you have this dark area. We have lots of lights on right now just for building, but we'll end up taking all those lights out. And there'll be probably a lot more flame lights instead of lanterns. And then we have this will be the huge city entryway. Kind of the Roman not Colosseum, but the Roman pillar entryway. That we can have some chariots in here. There'll still be a lot more people around here. The people that still live here are still having to survive, and so there'll be some people here. We'll probably have some guards fighting off these monsters that just auto spawn in the dark areas. So we'll make the NPCs combat them, so there's always kind of a battle going between the monsters and what's here. And this is a town square. So this will be where there'll be some marketplaces along the sides and some places to shop. This is level 1, so most of this is a little more easy. The monsters are more dirt based, ants and stuff like that. And then as they progress, the monsters will get bigger and bigger and bigger. The map's 400 blocks by 400 blocks. 1 block's 1 meter, so it's 400 meters long. I have no idea what the estimate is on fighting through, and we'll have to play test it to get an idea of what the game time is. It really, I think, depends on how tough the monsters are and that side of it. But this gives you kind of an idea on the procedural generation. All these buildings may get upgraded to what this first one looks like, what these look like, but they'll probably be lower down. So probably layers like 7, 8, 9, 10 will probably have buildings more like these, and then these level 1 buildings will probably just be a little more bland without the face on them. But that's the idea for level 0 and 1. They save their pet, they defeat the main boss, and then that unlocks to level 2, which will be our next release, and we'll continue on the story. Right now what we need is probably like 5 to 10 mini subplot stories on this level. So we need some concept of little stories happening, and then the virtue checks, like beggar is sitting here in a hallway and asks for food, and do you give them some of your hard-earned food? Food's really hard to come by, or do you keep it for yourself? And it'll be those type of things. We have a wizard and a mage that will be imprisoned, and you have to choose whether to release them, or you can leave them imprisoned and they'll give you a spell once a day or once a week or something. We're going to try to follow the Tunnels of Doom theme of fighter, rogue, cleric, wizard concept. This is level 8. This is for the zoo level. which will just be a whole bunch of these with different beasts and animals. She wanted to have all, a whole bunch of the same animals and stuff underground as well. The queen did. And then these are the template buildings for what goes in there. So here's a barrack. So we come in here, and this would be what the barrack would spawn as, and there would be some NPCs in here that you'd have to fight or not fight. What's this? Fountain area. So this is a revive chamber where you could revive your companions or your pet if they die. Trap room, a library with traps. So when you walk in, maybe it catches fire or caves in. This will have a huge, this is meeting room, so this will have a huge table in the middle with some interactions. If you put a sword down on it, it will show you a secret door, for example. Bathroom, storage area, trashed room. This will have a whole bunch of broken stuff in it, like there's a brawl in it. The cage room, this has a boss in it, so this is one of the rooms where you can free people, free enslaved people, caged animals, stuff like that. Another boss room. The dead. So have kind of torture chamber-ish, or where they hang people, sacrifice people. Cave room. Fighting arena. Now the fighting arena, one of the thoughts is this could be animal fighting, or if you sleep on level 1 in an unsafe place, maybe there's a chance that you get kidnapped in the middle of the night and you wake up in a cage and you have to fight your way out. And if once you fight your way out, then there'll be a mini boss up here that you can kill to stop the fighting ring. Theater room. So this is a stage for theater. This will be chairs you can sit in. Luxury room. So king room. There'll be a throne here. Marketplace is the black market. White market. So a little trade post here. Have some NPCs, maybe some guards. Ant mini boss room. So this is a dirt maze where the ants will be living, and you can fight your way up. I think it keeps going too. It just mazes around. Yeah, on this side, there's another door out. Cat room. Place for some cats, some trees. Worm room. Big room for lots of worms. They'll probably be like crawling the walls and falling down. Armory. Arboretum. So a lot of these are just placeholders, and we'll add in what we call entities, which are more advanced more advanced blocks that can be animated to do different things. So what is this one? This is the wizard room, enchanting room. Tree storage area. So this is just natural resource storage. Torture chamber. So we have some torture equipment that would go in here. Graveyard. We have a whole bunch of graves. Church. We have pews and a pulpit. Garden area for herbs and growing stuff, food. 2 room, vault room for all of the treasures that they've gathered. Let's see, empty. Map room. Have some maps for that level. Redstone. Library. Big library. We have books and trapdoors, secret doors. Spider room. Empty prison jail. With has like a mini vault for confiscated stuff. Stable for horses. This is probably empty. Animal farm, so where they're raising animals. Garden with a swing. Sleep room. This will probably get changed to bunk beds and not be just pure beds. Maze, so it's like a maze. That's easy. Maze hard. Mini boss worm. Ant farm. Praying mantis room, which have big plants and stuff. That turned out nice. Jungle trees. It's all jungly. And evil hummingbird. Evil forest. And then we have some just extra templates that are this is the template for a district. So that's all of them that we have out now. If you have ideas for more rooms that we're missing, then just let us know and we'll put them in. If you have ideas for monsters or NPCs, then we can create specific rooms for them, or they can just be out in the open. And then each level has its own space. So like here's level 10, it's just empty, and we'll just deploy all of these templates into it, and then they randomly select each building can be 7 different buildings. So once we put them in there, it can choose between 7 of these. So we'll have like one building can be mini bosses, and it'll choose between one of 7 mini bosses, or maybe it has like 5 mini bosses and 2 just regular rooms, so it's different. And then that way, every time you spawn the map, you'll get a different dungeon for each level. So that's TorchlyDoomed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas, please let us know.